Greetings, YouTube. So, today we have a special treat, an unexpected treat, because I was not expecting this package until next week, and somehow it showed up today, despite shortages and shipping problems and everything else that has messed up the world lately. Action Force order is here, so we are going to take a look at it. Before we get into these, and I'm very excited to bring this to you, I want to talk a little bit about how we got here. Okay, so some people may not know this, but Bobby Vala, who is the driving force, the owner, the creator of the Valaverse company, movement, universe, whatever you want to call it, apparently used to work at Hasbro, used to work on G.I. Joe line. Huge G.I. Joe guy, huge G.I. Joe fan. And stopped working for them, started on his own. Had a Kickstarter to try to do this Action Force line. It failed. This was in 2019, or I want to say early 2019, maybe late 2018. Went back to the drawing board, apparently, because I wasn't even aware of the first failure when I saw the one that actually did fund. Went back to the drawing board, put out another Kickstarter. That one did fund. And this was near the end of 2019. In fact, November 9th, 2019 is when it was 100% funded. And, you know, this was coming on the heels of the announcement of the 6-inch G.I. Joe classified line. A lot of people were wondering, would they be compatible? Would they be competition? Would they be better? And we didn't know. G.I. Joe Classified actually started coming out. We all have documented all of G.I. Joe Classified's early problems, but G.I. Joe Classified is obviously more well-known from a big company, more resources. They got their stuff out, and it increasingly got better and better and better. G.I. Joe Classified has hit its stride big time. Action Force, on the other hand, you know, went through what everybody else is going through, especially smaller enterprises. Shipping delays, production delays, multiple of them. I even made a video about one back in, I want to say, spring. We were expecting to get these, and then they didn't come. Then they were delayed to July. That was what we were told at the time. It was very disappointing. It was at that point that we were really, really hoping to get these because Classified was coming up short in so many areas. We wanted an alternative. We wanted something else. Then it got delayed again, and we didn't get them in July either. This is when I started to see some people getting kind of upset on social media and stuff about, you know, not having the figures, not really being very patient. And I get it. I was disappointed too. But again, this is not Hasbro. This is a guy who made a company who's trying to do something that is, you know, quite frankly, probably difficult to do. So, they're finally here. It's a Christmas miracle, I guess. So we're going to talk about them. I have not opened them up yet. I'm going to get these open. I only ordered, I was able to get in, not on the Kickstarter per se, but I was able to get in on the subsequent Crowd Ox campaign, which I guess is connected to Kickstarter. So that's why I have these now. I do have others of them on order, pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store. So I'll be able to take a look at some of the other ones here in the next month or two whenever Big Bad Toy Store gets their shipments. But for right now, we're going to be looking at Carrack, which is one of the bad guys in the mythos or the lore of Action Force as far as Valaverse goes. And then also Sergeant Slaughter. If you've been following me at all, looking at any of my videos, you know that I have a very, very good custom Sergeant Slaughter that I have used in stop motions and picture taking and things like that. When I ordered this guy, I didn't have that custom, so this was going to be my Sergeant Slaughter. So we'll see how they compare. All right, enough of story time. Let's take a look at the figures. All right, so very quickly, let's take a look at the packaging here for the Valaverse. You have some logos up here. Pretty simple, plain kind of front of the box, nice window. Some more logos. Back here, we get a very, very nice file card, like old school file card. That's not like 2 sentences. So that is appreciated. Some nice artwork. Then the kind of cross sell with all the different other characters that were released in this first wave. You got Condor, the Bone Collector, a Steel Brigade, Swarm Trooper, Carrack, and Sergeant Slaughter. A little bit more artwork of the Sarge. All right, let's get them open. All right, so again, you are witnessing this opening as I'm doing it. This has not been opened before. I'm sharing this with everybody. So, as far as Sergeant Slaughter goes, you know, when Valaverse was making their moves, when they were doing their preliminary stuff, and they sent out the information that they had gotten the license or the rights to Sergeant Slaughter. It was a big win, a huge win for the Valaverse line, because we knew that, yes, WWE still had license for Sergeant Slaughter and was making Sergeant Slaughter figures, but Hasbro was not. We're not that I can see, we're not going to get a Sergeant Slaughter in the classified line. We're just not. And this was, you know, outside of a custom, this was the only way you were going to get a good 6-inch Sergeant Slaughter that fits with your classified G.I. Joe type figures, you know. So this was a big win for Valaverse, and this is what I think. And look, I think his stuff would have still funded anyway, but when it was announced that he was going to have a Sergeant Slaughter, I think a lot of people took notice of that. So let's take a look at Sarge here and see how he looks. Some light in here for some more detail. It's a very, very detailed face sculpt. You might say, oh, he looks kind of ugly. Well, this is kind of how he's supposed to look. The man, the myth, the legend himself has very, very unique features. Hat's removable. Fits on his head pretty good. Go look at the rest of him. He does have on this green jacket that some people were asking about, because this isn't how we picture Sergeant Slaughter. We'd never really seen him wearing a jacket per se. At least not, you know, exclusively. And he does have these sleeved arms, so people are like, you know, well, what's up with the bare arm look? And we'll get into that in a second when I talk about the second character that I have here. But let's have a look at the rest of him. Got a hole in the back here for backpacks and such. Nice camo look. Got a knife holder. Got a holster here for a pistol. Some nice looking combat boots. Nice texture there. Looks to be every bit, you know, the look of a Sergeant Slaughter. Besides the coat. All right, let's see what kind of accessories he comes with, and then we'll take a look at articulation and such. All right, so each of these figures comes with a very nice, very quality looking stand here. And Sarge here has quite a few accessories as far as hands go. He's got that pointer hand, he's got some relaxed hands, looks like a fist, another fist, and then some gun or knife holding hands. He does come with a very, very nicely sculpted big, combat hunting knife. Like, that thing looks great. A big, huge, I don't know what caliber or type of gun this is, but I guess a revolver of some sort that looks like it's something Dirty Harry would carry. And then, which is something that I noticed at first, I'm like, well, I wish he had some glasses to put on. It looks like he does. And I was hoping he came with glasses. So here are those. Let's have a look at them, and I just dropped them. Okay, here's the sunglasses. So they are removable, obviously. Let's see how well they fit on his head. All right, not too bad. They're a little loose. I think, if I'm honest, I would have preferred an alternate head with the glasses on rather than these removable ones. They seem like they're going to fall off very easily. They don't really go around his ears real well. Like, there's no like in that Cobra Island's roadblock, there was like a little hole where the glasses slid in to keep them in. That probably would have been a good idea, maybe. Or just, like I said, an alternate head would have fixed this very easily. But it's good that they included them. All right, let's take a look at articulation. All right, for the Sergeant's articulation here, let's take a look at the head first. So we don't have any type of articulation here at the base of the neck. That sculpt is maintained. I'm assuming that's probably why they did that. Head looks to be on a very traditional ball joint that has a rotating peg back there, so he can look up pretty high. He can look down decently well. Obviously, you can go side to side. A little bit of tilt. And then shoulder-wise, we are looking at a butterfly joint inside of there, inside the coat. So that is there. Very traditional setup as far as his arms go. You have a bicep swivel here, a double jointed elbow, and typical peg and hinge at the wrist. Looks like you've got a ball joint at the diaphragm, and since his coat is open, he can use it pretty good. And it looks like there's also a ball joint at the waist, so he can bend over pretty good. You got drop down hips. You can see that mechanism in there. Cut at the thigh, so he can go out pretty far and probably farther if you pull down and drop down hips. You got the thigh cut. You have a double jointed knee, and these are really stiff. Speaking of that, we did get a flyer / instruction manual here talking about the joints and what you should do to try to heat them up to get them to move better. Haven't had any issues so far, but this knee, I don't want to push it until I actually heat it up. So that is double jointed, but I'm not going to do it right now because I'm not about to tear up my stuff. We got a calf cut here, traditional forward-facing pin for some movement here, and some rocker. So yeah, it's a pretty typical 1/12 scale setup, very similar to a classified figure or a Marvel Legends type figure. Nothing groundbreaking, but it has what it needs and it works. All right, so there's the Sarge. Let's take a look at the next guy. So next on the docket, we have Carrack. And Carrack is one of the main bad guys, I want to say. I did pick up a couple of the comic books of Action Force, read them, last year, but I don't all the way remember. But I want to say he's one of the bad guys. I believe so. But there's his bio. Very nice, fleshed out. 3 paragraphs, no less. Wow, imagine that. Got your regular cross sell. We already showed you that. Everything else is pretty much the same. Some good artwork here. So let's have a look at him. All right, pulling Carrack out of the box here. Again, this is pretty much a live unboxing. I have not opened these guys up before I started filming. So you're getting to see everything as I see it. Okay, so there is Mr. Carrack out of the package, and wow, that face sculpt, that's very, very nice. That dude looks maniacal, psycho, ruthless. Very nice. He also has a little jacket here. Same beater type shirt as Sergeant Slaughter, which I'll get to the significance of that in a second. It's got their symbol here on the back. That looks cool. Nice texture again on the pants. Looks like, are these the same boots as Sarge? Yes, I believe they are. Just painted differently. Got his holster here. He's also got the knife sheath. So yeah, he is looking very, very good. A couple of bands on the wrists. You know, looks like a mercenary, which is kind of, I think, what his shtick is. Like, he's an ex official army, and his gun is already in the holster. That's different. And now he's doing freelance mercenary work. Very nice. Carrack. All right, let's take a look at his accessories. All right, so he has the obligatory stand, which is appreciated. A couple of different hands here. These ones, that one looks like a gun trigger hand. This one, a relaxed hand, maybe a gun holding, like the other side of the gun. A fist. Also seems to come with a knife, very similar to Sarge's, probably the same mold, just colored differently. Looks like we have a shotgun with a sheath. His iconic mask that he wears, and a combat axe, if that's a real thing. Let's take a look at this helmet. This is something that, you know, this sets him apart. I mean, look, this is a very nice looking figure, a very nice looking head sculpt, but he's just a basic, you know, grunt mercenary dude until you put this on. Now he's looking very, very different, very unique. You don't see many people on a modern battlefield with a, you know, Viking medieval type knight helmet on, which is a very nice touch to his, you know, very non-traditional soldier look. So I do like that. And the helmet fits pretty good on his head. It is not super gummy or soft, but it is soft enough that it will bend around his head, and it's a really good fit. Like, it's an excellent fit. Very nice. I like that. Let's have a look at that shotgun. All right, so the shotgun here, and it is very, very old school. Like, this isn't a modern SWAT team shotgun. This is something that someone would have at their house. And it's got a very nice sheath. It fits in there very securely. And then you can put that like a backpack on Mr. Carrack. Whoops. All right, that needs to go in a little bit deeper, but I think you get the idea. And is that a soft plastic, or did I break it? Oh, okay, it's soft. So be careful with this. This looks like it might snap off if you push it too hard and it's not lined up right. Okay, so there's Carrack. I don't think I need to go over the articulation again because he's basically the same body as Sergeant Slaughter, which brings me to my point that I was talking about earlier. So here we have basically the same figure with a couple of different alterations. This guy's got an extra belt, different colors for the sheaths and stuff. But for the most part, this is the same figure. This looks like all reuse. So the idea was that if you got this Sergeant Slaughter with his coat and stuff on, okay, that could be a nice look for him. But you could heat this up, take the coat off of him, remove the arms, and put these arms onto Sarge. And then you'd have your, traditional look for Sergeant Slaughter. This was talked about. I don't know where I read it or if I saw him say it, but I'm pretty sure Bobby Vala confirmed that these arms would fit on this figure. Great idea. Sounded great. Unfortunately, they missed one detail. Inside of Sarge's shirt, his body is painted green, where his body should be painted flesh. Probably so the coat looks good. I understand why they did it, but that ruins the idea of switching arms. Because even this butterfly joint is painted green. So that's a little bit of an issue. It's a little bit of an issue because that's not something that you're going to be able to do easily. It's going to take more customizing and not just some kit bashing. Now, what you could do is just take this head off and put it on this guy and have a Sergeant Slaughter with some black pants and some different color boots, or maybe paint these camouflage. In fact, let's see if the heads, I'm going to assume that they swap easily, but let's just see. Okay, so success there. The head does fit on, and the skin tone is pretty, looks like it's on pretty much the same. So that could work. You could then, but even then, you still have the issue of, okay, well, everything looks good now, but he has a gray beater on instead of a black one. Okay, so I guess I'd have to paint the beater. But it would be a lot easier to paint a beater and that's it, rather than try to paint, butterfly joints in those little areas in there where it's supposed to be flesh tone. And again, this little coat thing, you can take that off. That's not going to be hard. So, kind of a missed opportunity there, especially when he told us that these arms could go on this one. I don't know if that was a mistake at the factory or if they decided, hey, look, we can't do that because it's going to look weird when you look at his coat, which, again, I completely understand that reasoning. So, I don't know. If you want a traditional Sergeant Slaughter and you were trying to get one through Action Force, you might have to do some alterations. Okay, let's have a look at the next figure.